along, I'd like to go back to the principal's report and start anew as whatever else is
The
there.
short version.
And we'll try to be on the short version track.
There will be an all-junior practice ACT exam on November 1st in the East Gym for periods 1 through 4. Students will also take another practice ACT in March before the official ACT in April. Believe it or not, course selection for the 2017-18 school year is beginning next week. So this process starts with current sophomores who will meet with the guidance counselor in a large group prior to meeting with them individually. And then current freshmen will begin the process on November 21st and juniors on January 10th. So we encourage all parents to look at their students' course selection form and review the online curriculum guide for specific course information when assisting their student in selecting the courses.
So based on a recent conversation we just had here, like juniors going into senior year, do you have test scores that said, oh, we got to highlight this particular junior's English, and we should have a counselor encourage that junior to focus in on a rigorous reading right now? Are you that ahead of game, or is it not yet into a situation where we can do that?
Sophomores start first. So our practice with current sophomores is to look at the ACRA benchmark data to see which students didn't meet benchmarks and then which students also did not meet growth, and enroll them in our CAP course for their junior year. So we've started with our sophomores. The only way to get out of that course would be to have a conversation with the assistant principal of curriculum and instruction, and then for her to have a conversation with the parents before deciding whether or not that student does not need to take that course. So we have started with the sophomores. The school report card, today we were able to see some previews of this online prior to release on Monday. Much of the data is information that you have already seen. There are some pieces that are new or are pieces that we don't report out to the board. And so we will share this with you as soon as it becomes public, once it is released.
I'll send that probably to a Friday update because their next meeting's until November, and by that time it'll be published. So as soon as I formally have a copy in hand, I'll include it in a Friday update to the board.
The last thing in the report is the open house and residency survey results. Sharing with you this with you to highlight the concerns that we continue to receive about lack of parking, and some of those were highlighted. This starts on page 6, I believe, of the board packet, and those individual comments are highlighted. Other comments that are also highlighted in the survey results are parents expressing concern that we're not translating some of our documents into Spanish for some of our parents. So we'll start to do that moving forward, and hopefully use some existing funds that we have already built into the budget for that. There were 2 questions that were submitted. First was about residency. And so there was a parent that expressed, or 2 that expressed, that they don't believe that returning students should continue to have to prove residency. However, we deter and catch several families each year that are no longer living in district. We have a lot of families that are on leases, and leases change. And so that process is very important to us, and we usually deter and catch several families that are no longer residents. There's also a question about teacher attendance at open house. Unfortunately, from time to time, there are some things that do arise with the teacher that prevent them from attending. While it is a professional responsibility, at the same time, there's nothing we can do if the teacher gets sick or has another reason for not attending. On any given year, there's usually 1, at most 2 teachers that cannot attend. And we do our best to schedule open house around sporting events, and only schedule sporting events that involve outside coaches that are not in the building. Are there any other questions?
Thank you, Kristen.